The walls around you are crumbling. The sky above you no longer full of roses and petals and vines, but instead everything decaying and falling apart. You feel a bit of that in yourself as you suffer to move after being inflicted by a curse and you're flying away. A curse that, at one thought, seems potentially a blessing of you cannot die, therefore you must be safe. And then you remember it's from the god of death and decay and rot, and to die, well, to live unending, but with your body constantly ceasing, decaying, breaking down until nothing's left but a conscious mind with nothing to control, is a good reason to get out of here and figure out what to do next. Are you still flying, or are you trying to manage some other way to get out?
I have to fly because I'm not doing well. I don't think I could run very quickly right now. She leaves the spear there with where Parrish stood.
Okay. If you are still flying, then we'll make one of probably two rolls to get out of here. To leave this castle section, would you rather wield a power or tempt fate?
I would rather tempt fate because I'm pretty desperate.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to mark my 5th strain with that.
Okay. Super fair. Okay.
Let's see. Okay.
You are not being lended a hand. You don't have any other options, so I would give you that plus. And you are far from a god that wishes you harm, so you +2 to this.
+2. That's a 10.
Okay. On a 10, your overkill kicks in. What does it look like as I imagine you have just shed your divinity? You have just unleashed it, but it's still taking a second to get out of your system as you shed it in almost the same second you had to flee. What is Odette doing to make her fleeing from the palace worse as she goes?
She is going as quickly as possible, which probably means she's not entirely paying attention to her surroundings, of just trying to backtrack and make sure. I think she's laser focused on the exit.
Yeah, and almost like that Holder record is still getting you out. You leave a blinding light behind, and I don't think Odette realizes how much energy she's exuding with the speed she's moving at until you hear the pulse and speed of the collapsing ruins around you picking up. And you can see light coming in through a hole before it's slammed shut again, and it seems that a bit of the surface above you is starting to collapse into this hole as well.
Awesome. Great.
Would you like to try and climb for the surface, or would you like to try and make it to the exit you know you can confidently reach?
Probably the exit I know.
Okay. And is there anything as this place is coming down around you you're hoping to stop and investigate, or just beelining it right for the way out?
Is it... If I get out of this spot, is it still collapsing around me?
It seems like everything is slowly crumbling, but as you activated that overkill, instead of like structures falling apart, it seems like the structural foundation fell apart. You're not sure if it will extend past the palace into this cavern, but if you were to overstep again, it might bring the entire place down around you.
That's so cool. That's so awesome. I think the only thing I would want to see is if some of the things collapsing are those structures with the faces on them, to just see if they're finally able to not be here anymore.
They don't seem to be collapsing in the same way. They seem to more just be withering, as though the life source keeping all of the vegetation down here alive isn't keeping it alive anymore, which as you see that, you also would realize that means all of the roads and planks and structures that you've walked upon previously will also be very quickly decaying and withering.
That's so fun. That's so cool. This is going great. Yeah, it's checking on that and then continuing to fly for fear of like, oh, you know, how that I fell far and it hurt really bad.
Yeah, I think we'll tempt fate once more and see if you can make it to the exit as you potentially, with the hubris of Icarus, fly through an open collapsing cave, or potentially with the confidence of an Odette reborn, make it through. What did the dice say?
I got an overkill again.
That's real good.
Real good. Yeah?
Real good. As you fly past, once again, blaring with strength, continuing the speed, you see your light shedding around. And it's a lot easier to see it coming when it's an open chasm above you. As a large rock is coming down and will strike you in the back if you don't do something to get out of the way.
Can I do something to get out of the way? Can I go?
Yeah. What do you want to do?
I guess I can't inflict violence on a rock.
You cannot. It's also not a god, and it's not someone dangerous. You're really between really trying to wield wind in a way that will help you, tempting your fate and hoping you hit perfectly in the middle, or manifesting a miracle.
Looking at what powers I have. Okay. I think we I think we just have to tempt fate again, because if I wield a power, I'm gonna hit my 5th strain. I can see how wind could help with this. I can see that. Which is wind picking up speed in order to get out of the way quick enough. I don't think the miracles I have the powers I have would be helpful in this scenario to sacrifice. Because wind is one I need for the later task and the one I use the most. And then the other one is what I just got, which is perish. So...
So it sounds like you're tempting fate once more.
Yeah, and I have to get a 7 to 9. No.
Okay. Was it a high
Oh,
or low?
yeah. It was a low.
Okay. Then I think on that low, as you try and think, in a moment of brief panic of what is my best option, I know it's something better, but can I risk it? Your mind takes too long to think and not fast enough to move as a large rock hits you from above, inflicting a strain. So we will roll for your 5th strain as Odette is falling semi-conscious with the weight of a ceiling rock above her, pushing her down into that gooey liquid vat of death beneath.
Yeah,
okay. Let's go ahead and suffer your 5th strain. Is Odette choosing to die? Or does she want her... Okay, I was just going to ask. So, if you would like to persevere, you'll roll 2d6. On a 7 to 9, you clear 1 strain and also reveal to your opponent as you fight through the pain. The opponent here being kind of the world.
Oh, that's nice.
On an overkill, on a strong hit of 10 plus, divinity surges through you and you clear all strain. On a 6 and minus, you fall unconscious, clearing 1 strain, and the GM will tell you where you wake up later. Yeah.
So we discussed that there are no crit fail rules, so that's good.
Oh, you got a 2? Oh.
I'll take the picture.
Yeah. So, on a 2, you will fall unconscious, clear 1 strain, and we'll talk about where you wake up. At the end of last session, there were 2 things in your mind that you thought about reaching out to. However, on the lowest roll possible, do you feel Odette would have had time to call out for aid, or do you think Odette is down?
I don't think Odette would have had time, especially because of the thing that she got hit with. Mm-hmm. It was probably such a split-second thing. I don't think she would have had time to do it.
Okay. Then you land with a uncomfortable squish that you don't feel because your mind is elsewhere as you have been knocked unconscious from the impact of the rock that is going to land on your body. And it's unclear the time that's passed. And it's unclear the amount of just life fighting through your body. Some of it in an attempt to live, but also some of it ready for release and trying to get out and finding that it's trapped. Almost like when you have a tube that's just too pressurized and it can't be opened and the water can never be shut off, but it's still constantly trying to go somewhere. And as your body is laying surrounded by all of this gore and muck, you feel that pressure building inside of you and pass out spiritually in a moment, almost like your soul taps off from being too overwhelmed. And after a while, you wake up in a strange land of mist. It's very empty, but you can tell that there's paths going all around you, leading somewhere. All of them seem to go off into the mist, and then you can't track it anymore. Your eyes go beyond it. There's no one around you. There's nothing around you. You were almost convinced that the floor wouldn't actually hold you up if it wasn't currently. It's just some land of mist. And then you see a hand, gentle and skeletal, reach out and hold itself open for you.
Her mind is racing with confusion of what has just occurred. And then she sees the skeletal hand. And the first thought in her head is so strange that it even throws her off for a moment of, is that it? After all this, that's how it happens? And then she remembers that pull that she felt into different directions and feeling trapped in life from that curse taking hold. And knows that this is someone, no matter what, that she does need to speak to. And she takes the hand.
It might be best if you close your eyes.
Okay.
Just trust and keep in step.
Okay.
And you feel the hand pull, almost trying to take you somewhere. Does Odette resist?
No.
Then it pulls, and with her following along, as you're going, you can hear sounds almost like people finding reunion, people celebrating being reunited with the people that they believed they'd find, but you also hear just long silences until something moves and you realize maybe it's not silent, but accepted, that whatever soul you're passing currently isn't going to have anyone, and they're just alone. Then you walk further and get to places where it sounds almost like the ocean, and like there's a seaside train just passing by. And after a while, the hand leading you comes to a stop. And it's in a room that you could hear your feet changing to tile as you stepped onto it, and you know you're inside somewhere. Okay, you can look around now. And you find yourself in a strange, comfortable cottage with tiled floors and wooden structures, large windows, and each window seems to look out into some different land or reality or something, maybe scenes that used to exist and no longer do, maybe memories of people that they themselves have forgotten, but this house seems to hold to some level of importance. You're a difficult one.
So I've heard.
Yeah. Normally, you would have had one of those roads open up to you, even in your unconscious mind, letting you choose to continue on or not. But there's something about you, and I think we both know what it is that is preventing you from making a choice.
Is there anything that can be done?
Curses are difficult. They're not given lightly, and they're not broken lightly either. Yours is particularly interesting, as the way to defy it is to give up something that Parrish would never give up, but something humans should reach. But I don't know how you would defy it and break it without succumbing to it at the same time.
I don't understand. What?
In order to never die, if you want to break it, you need to die. In order to die, you are breaking a curse and you are remaining dead, and if you ever somehow found your way back, the repercussions of it would come back on you, I imagine tenfold. Which presents you with the options of giving up and knowing that if anyone ever tries to resurrect you, that it will be worse for all involved, or allowing yourself to maybe one day find a friend and find a cave and be forgotten.
So that's it then. After all of this, doing a favor for someone I don't even really like. That's it. That's...
You can make of your life what you want. I'm simply talking about the end. And if you choose to go on, you have forever to make your story what you want it to be.
I do not want forever. No one should have forever. We're not
agree.
meant to.
Even God shouldn't have forever. And yet, it's an idea coveted by those who don't know how to think past a year. Why did you do a favor for someone you don't like?
Because I need the information that he has.
You were given ulterior methods of acquiring the information, were you not?
Would you have given it to me?
I don't know. But you never asked. No one ever asks me for anything. It's partially why I'm not sure how to aid curses or stuff like that. I've never quite been seen as beneficial in that matter. But I do think that what's being done to preserve that tower is wrong. And the people there deserve their rest, even if they were contractually tied into never having it. So maybe it's a weird twist of irony that the girl who would free them will take on their fate in a different way.
I cannot accept that.
Well, you'll need to accept something. You cannot stay here for long. It will eat away at you, even if it won't consume you.
Is there anything that you can do that can keep the curse away temporarily? Just long enough for me to get this done.
I would see it as a aid in your quest, is it not?
No. If support wins, then I'll still be around no matter what state I'm in. And I can't. None of this was supposed to happen.
People say that a lot. And oftentimes they don't realize that they're lying to themselves. If nothing was supposed to happen, nobody would ever take action. And if nothing was supposed to happen, people wouldn't look to gods to make bargains with to find ways to get around the things they're trying not to do. Just because it's not going the way you wanted it to doesn't mean it's not supposed to have happened. But in terms of if I can help you, I don't know how, other than perhaps a promise that no matter what state you're in, after the tower collapses and support falls with it, I'll find the pieces of you and we can talk again then. I'm not saying it's the best course, but if you were to somehow break your curse, I'm sure you'd be far worse off with what you hope to achieve than you think you would be. A lifetime of rot and decay will not be pleasant, but imagine it hitting you all at the same time. What would you do then?
Okay. Thank you.
Glad to help. You are still a divine champion, and I believe believe you have a goddess who is searching for you. Do each other proud. And hopefully the next time you're here, you'll either be ready or we'll have a solution.
Okay.
Close your eyes once more. And as you close them, you're hit with a wall of pain as everything comes back to your conscious mind at the same time, including the rock pushing down on your chest, pushing the air out of your lungs, and the sticky texture of everything laying around you. And you are back in the world, and you realize that the hand you were holding the skeletal hand with seems to be a bit transparent, almost like your touch of death has stolen the vitality of that hand.
Just the immediate, weak attempt at trying to get what is on her off as the air is being pushed from her lungs, even if she doesn't necessarily need that anymore. That's still a human desire and feeling to be able to breathe. And that just, it goes from that immediate, resignation and despair with death to back to that human need to survive in this exact moment. Just trying to get this off of her.
With enough perseverance, you are able to wrench yourself out of the situation you're in and stand at the bottom of this hole, looking up, a collapsed mine shaft essentially above you, wreckage and decay, nothing showing that it was once a civilization or a home for devotion. And then from the far side, a bit of light shining down into the subterranean area, from where holes in the ceiling stand as Odette couldn't control her power once more.
Are any of the holes large enough for me to fly through?
Yeah.
I will do that.
Okay, cool. When you get to the top, you are out. You recognize parts of where you're at from your walk to try and meet wind, and you see that there are now just large craters in the earth leading down. That half skull, half body that you had camped in seems to be entirely missing as parts of it had fallen down, and you can tell where in the mountainside must have had Parrish's home beneath, as there's just now a large section that has had a landslide and an avalanche coming off of the mountain, and it looks like just a part of it was shot out through it. What does Odette do?
She observes this scene, and everything from this whole event is starting to be sorted through in her mind. And I think this is the first time that, for Odette, the amount of power she does carry is starting to set in. And that scares her of, oh, I am capable of this destruction and of willingly taking someone's life if I'm desperate enough. And she gives sort of nod to herself of understanding as just that slow growing dread of her current scenario is just settling like a knot in her stomach. And all she can hope for is that death will find her again. And that she will be able to move on someday in some way, because the other fates that were described were ones she genuinely cannot comprehend. It's the whole reason why she's trying to free the people in the tower, is to let them rest. And trading fates with them was not on her radar. Or she just would have done it right then and there when support had offered it.
And you make your way home.
Yep. Still not doing great, as I am now at 4 strain again.
You are at your 4th strain. But you make it, and the home is still there. Would you even take a day to try and get yourself, or are you just collapsing for a bit of rest?
I need to see how much time has passed, because I need to see if Alexander's here.
Very fair question. As you get back, it doesn't seem like it's been too long. It doesn't seem like time had been diluted for too much. And you think about just the brief contact you had with Death and how they told you being there too long would be quite bad. And you realize you probably were only unconscious for 2 to 3 hours.
Okay.
Looking at the dust around you, it was settled. The spores no longer spewing everywhere. It didn't seem like it was long enough for anything to have settled permanently, but it was long enough that not everything was actively in disruption. And with the sun being where it's at, you went down at dawn, and it seems to just be starting to set. It's probably the same day.
Okay, good. Then, yeah, she would go to where her and Alexander are staying. Probably still flying a little, because I don't think walking would be a good idea right now. From taking 2 very large falls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she'll walk in, see if Alexander is there.
Okay. And when you get in, it's probably more of a exciting scene than Odette was prepared for, as Alexander is there, and there seems to be 3 or 4 of the other, guys your age from the guard or the library that are all cooking dinner together as you open the door.
Good for him. Yeah, I think she opens the door a little loudly and then sees the scene, is like, oh. Closes it quietly. It's like, I don't want to disturb them. It's gonna try to kind of sneak away into...
Yeah. Sneak away into where?
The corner. I don't know.
Like outside of the house, or trying to now re-enter just quietly?
Just re-enter quietly.
Yeah. Every eye is turned towards you from a very loud and sudden door opening. And for most of them, for the 4 guys you don't know, it's like a look of ooh, as they see the state you're in. But for Alexander, it's a strange mix of joy to see you again, terror at the state you're in, and then a mixed condition when he just sees how you're carrying yourself, how your face is presenting, how just tired and heavy you look. When the last time you reunited, yeah, you looked a little tired, but you were emboldened, and this time you just look destroyed. And that's my friend Odette. She lives here too.
Mm-hmm. She's gonna kind of lean against the wall.
Yeah, we can go.
No, by all means, I'm just gonna go probably over there. Don't even worry about it.
You can take my room if you want.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, and you float your way gently up the stairs to that room in the back, at least not being in the open space that everyone currently inhabiting.
Yes. Worst nightmare ever.
And I will let you, the player, choose, both as the player and the character. Is Odette so exhausted Record could not reach her?
I think she would let Record reach her if he would like to tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But that it's not a conscious effort made on her end to let him in, but she absolutely, like, if he's like, you did it, let's talk, she's like, okay.
Okay.
I think she like goes to like float and like lay face down on the bed and then remembers the rock that hit her chest and is like, oh no. It's just gonna turn around.
Yeah. And yeah, as you're laying there, time is passing and strange. That like half sleep of you're finally getting into a deep sleep and then suddenly shift a little and your rib presses up against your side or your arm moved and you're pulled right out of it, which makes it hard for anyone to find a still mind. So Record is able to slip in easily, almost unnoticed with the speed, as your mind is in so much disarray that him getting in there doesn't kick up more than's already been destroyed that day. And you just hear his voice sitting at the foot of your bed. Well, Godkiller, you made it back.
She doesn't even open her eyes yet. She just kind of sits herself up a little in the bed, leaning against the frame. Yep. It's done. I don't know if it's entirely livable there, though.
Oh, but it will be. And when it is, we'll have somewhere else to go. And it'll be very nice to have the domain extended. Did you enjoy your time down there?
Not even a little.
Oh, a shame. But I'm sure you were as nice as you could be, weren't you?
I don't like what they did to the people of home.
Yes, that is good to see them freed. Well, anyway, I do suppose I owe you an answer. But I did not say I would tell you immediately. So, maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I do feel like it would be best for our relationship if we continued to work together, and that would mean not messing with you, but you're just so easily deceptible. But I can tell the pain you're in. What was the best part? Was it knowing you didn't know where to go without me? Offering a silent prayer to someone you don't like, hoping I could guide you to the purpose we both needed to achieve?
You assisted me at a time I needed, and I appreciate it.
You're welcome. If you want to be one of mine, you're welcome to be.
Can you please give me the information?
I suppose, but it is sad that our talks will come to an end. Riddle me this, Godkiller. If you were the god of support, what would you fear the most?
I would assume being alone.
And if you were, as you say, the god of tyranny and tyrants, what would you fear the most?
To fall.
Fascinating. Neither of those are the correct answer, which
Great.
is why you need me. But
Yep.
I just wanted to... I'm sorry. I thought we were having a conversation. But fine. Now, isolation will not do it, as even when someone's alone, you can believe in yourself, and The tower falling is a contract to him, not a concern. If you really want to bring him down, what you need to do is turn the idea of everyone against him. Once he knows that nobody believes in him, and that there's nobody that would ever ask him for his purpose, he can be killed. But if there are people that think, I'm sure one day it will be better, one day we can make change and be relied on, one day he'll change his mind and help us, well, that belief goes a long way. And I mean, in fairness, you do have many people of the world against him. It's just your own. But how will little Odette turn everyone against a god when her songs meant nothing to them her whole life?
I'm afraid I don't have an answer to that.
I do, if you'd like to have a favor.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, you already know the answer. But I can tell you it if you would like to owe me a debt.
No.
Okay.
But part of our deal was that you would let the people of home assist in getting people from the tower.
Oh, I'm aware. And they're assisting by not believing in support in their lies. And if you can get people off of the tower, there's a land for them here, and there will soon be a land for them below.
I thought the terms of our deal was that there were people that would go to the tower with me.
We can do that.
I think the people of the tower would need proof. And I think the people of home could be that.
You're on the right path.
I don't think this would be an immediate change. It's hard to change people's minds when it's been the same way for generations, even if it's looking them in the face.
Very true.
But it could be the start.
Could be.
We need to find a way to get the people off the tower.
Well, that's an idea, but I'm sure you'll come up with something after a good night's sleep.
Yeah, sure.
And I think with how disrupted your head is, you still don't even feel him leave. What's the rest of her night? Does she ever sleep?
Probably just from sheer exhaustion and pain of being like, if I go to sleep, I'm not going to feel this for a little bit. That would be great.
And I think it's probably 2 to 3 days later.
Oh, gosh.
You've been awake a few times. You've been tended to by Alexander the best he can, bringing like cups of water and tiny bits of bread to leave by. He doesn't know much about medicine, but he knows giving somebody a full breakfast when they're in a bad state is not going to help. But a few days of recovery later, you feel a different person at your bedside. And you look up, and the familiar sunken eyes and sadness of want as she's come to visit her champion. I heard it didn't go great down there.
No, I didn't even think that that could be the worst case scenario. But it was.
Yeah. If no one's told you yet, I'm proud of you for the work you've done. Oh, that was the wrong thing to say. Okay.
No, I don't see how.
Well, you're figuring out who you are, and you're figuring out, like, what you need to do to get the world you want. And that's something most people never take the first step in.
I am trying so hard. And every step of the way, it goes horribly wrong.
Well, what's gone wrong so far? Other than, you're cursed to never die.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty big one.
Yeah, but you saved your friend's life, right?
Yeah, after trying. And probably being the only intentional worshiper of the tower.
Yeah.
And failing.
But you've changed your mind, and he has friends. He didn't have friends on the tower, and he'd be dead if you left him there. So that's a good thing. And it shows that your people can get along with the people at home. Even if you weren't like the best first showing, I think Alexander's done a lot for public perception. Not saying that you did bad, simply just pointing out that I'm not going to finish that sentence.
I do not belong here, and I do not belong with the people of the tower. I do not belong with the gods. I do not belong with the mortals.
Yeah, I wish I could say that wasn't true, but you are dislodged in a way. You belong in stories with heroes, maybe, or with people who've committed greater follies than anyone will ever remember, but I am afraid your time of existing in partnership's not correct, but in tandem is also wrong, but in relation, maybe. The people of the cradle is well past. But that doesn't mean that you can't still have relationships and friendships and lives. There's not always going to be a threat looming over you forever. I mean, there is, because you're cursed to never die. There's not always going to be the threat of support looming over you forever, and hopefully after that you can have a break. Or end up like your friend, the girl, and just find your own happiness and make it yours forever.
My only hope is that I can save the people of the tower, and then Death and I can revisit our conversation, and maybe someone will tell my story. But I don't really care at this point. And you see that she starts crying, which I'm not sure if that's something Odette had ever considered a god could do.
But as they do, you see each tear shed is a bit of desire being lost from the world. As they fall from her eyes, dreams of people fall and splash into nothing. The beliefs people hold fall. And you see one of them specifically is when you two sat down in Support's chamber and you wrote her story. And the joy she felt that somebody cared enough about her to write it down. To then see that author saying, I don't even care if people remember me. And she knows that by extension, they won't remember her. Well, I'm sure someone would remember. And I don't know. Death is good. They're very kind. If they said they'd help you, they'll help you, and I hope maybe we can all work together to figure that out.
Maybe.
Okay. I meant to come here to comfort you and warm your spirits, but I guess, maybe I shouldn't have tried. I'm sorry.
No, thank you for visiting. It is... It's good to know that there is someone who cares.
You have a lot of people who care.
I have Alexander.
Yeah, and he told his friends that you're cool. And so they're invested in you now, and Death cares for you in a sad way. Record cares in his own twisted puzzle
Transactional.
piece. Transactional's a bit harsh, but not incorrect. Arya likes you, so I do guess that most of the people who care about you are ghosts or gods. But you started a movement, and they all care, and if you think about most people, they don't care about anyone more than themselves. It's not often I get a prayer asking to aid others or let someone else have a life they want. It's always, I want to do this, let me have it. And I think the people of the world are a lot lonelier than they'll let on. And so to know that even if it's 5 people who care about you, it's more than most have. You don't need to believe that, but just keep it in mind.
I will tell other people's stories until the end. And all I want is to help the people of the tower, but I do not expect anything in return.
This is gonna come across really poor, but I need you to just know that it was coming from a good spot and have that in your head as you're listening to it. Resigning yourself to only tell other people's stories is already admitting that Parrish was correct. Maybe you won't die because your body would decay, but maybe you also wouldn't die because the stories could be told. And by allowing yourself to be erased from a narrative when you're still on the earth is going to hurt more than anything. And I know it probably feels a comfortable thought right now, but I wonder if you've been spending too much time around forces that take for you to realize you still have a lot to give. I'm gonna go now.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. And that, like, soft haze of, like, that heavy blanket feeling whenever she's around comes back and everything feels a bit lighter, a bit less oppressive. And you hear a knock on the door.
Come in.
Hey.
Hey.
if you're up for it,
Mhm.
a couple of the people want to like meet you. You're kind of a local hero, because you proved that there's something that exists beneath the earth, and they think, well, they're saying that you like killed the monsters that lived down there, so that they can finally find a second home. Um, so if you're not up to meeting people, that's fine. But what you did kind of couldn't be hidden because you did kind of collapse part of the earth. Um, but you're a bit of a local hero to
Oh
people
gosh.
here.
Okay. Yeah, just give me a moment.
Okay. Um, we also like got you new clothes and stuff.
Thank you.
Because um, yeah, you didn't look good when you came home, and I kind of was like, oh, she's only fulfilling her promise of making it back, and then she's gonna die on my doorstep, and that's tragic. But at least then I wouldn't go try and find you in 2 more days. But also, I'm really glad you didn't die, and if I didn't think it would cause you excruciating pain, I would hug you. But I respect the fact that you haven't even been able to like move in your sleep without crying out, so I'm not gonna force you to do that.
Is that bad?
You know, you get used to it after a few nights. Um, but it is haunting.
Sorry. I didn't realize I
Yeah,
was doing that.
yeah, um, yeah. Anyway,
Mhm.
I'm gonna go make food.
Okay.
Should I tell the people that they can stop by, or should I say give us a few more days?
Oh gosh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, they really do think that there's something down there. Yes, they can. Whatever they need to feel fulfilled for this. I. Yes.
Uh, okay, that was kind of a non-answer. Um, but
Yes, they can come over.
okay. Uh, I'll let that priest guy know. He says that you guys know each other,
Oh
and he
gosh.
seems good at organizing public events, so maybe he can like figure out a way to get this done. That's not just gonna mean the entire town lines up to see you uh doing great laying in bed or propped up with the chair. Um maybe we can get a doctor here, cuz like I'm not convinced your bones are in the right spots.
I don't think so because it hurts to
Yeah.
breathe a lot. Like a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll tell the doctor and the priest guy and then all my friends that they can come say hi. I
Alright.
think you're going to like them. I know I've only known them for like 4 days, but like and like don't worry, like they're not my new best friend. Like you're still locked into number 1. Um but they're like solidly in number 3. Like there's no one in number 2 right now, but like they're all solidly locked in at number 3.
Oh god. She like laughs and then is like, oh god. So one of them has to earn number 2 or I have to get demoted is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. And I so if you get demoted, does that mean that they all automatically become number 1?
Probably.
Okay. Cool.
Don't think about it
That'll
too
be fun.
much.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'll go. I'll be.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And
Goodbye.
as he walks out to go grab an entire town ready to sing your
Oh my
praises,
god.
we will wrap up there, and we'll see everyone next time. Goodbye.
Out in the pale light. Some say there's still hope if you don't make a sound. Well, I just wanna scream. We're at the rainbow's end. What do you see in me? Love is a dream. Or you could be right this time. I'm half right all the time. I'm half right all the time. All the time. I've been trying so hard, and finally it gets me down. Down to earth.